Get right to the point. How many remember the 80s? I know most of you guys are probably just younger than I am, remember the 80s, right? So in the 80s, they had a lot of weird commercials. One of the commercials I remember most about the 80s, it was a commercial, had an egg. It said, "This is your brain." They cracked this egg open, they put it in a frying pan. So it went something a little bit different than this, but I'm gonna improvise because I didn't bring a frying pan and I won't be cooking breakfast this morning. So this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. That's what they would tell you. And you would look at that fried egg in the pan and think to yourself, man, I don't want to do drugs, right? So here in 2018, I don't really look at it as that's my brain on drugs. The way I like to look at my brain is more like a sponge. And I tell myself when I read every night, one of those cards in my box says, your mind is a sponge. It soaks up what you put in it. So the way that I think about my brain, if I take this sponge, it's dry. It has nothing in it right now. If it was dirty, I could dip it in here. I could get clean water. I could squeeze it out. I look at my brain as the same instance. Sometimes our brain is filled with things from our past, our childhood. The childhood bully who talked about your hair. The childhood bully who talked about your glasses. The childhood bully who pushed you down and made you feel bad. And for a lot of times, we carry those things into our adult life, our adult years. We may carry it into middle school. The person who said you were overweight. The person who said you wasn't attractive. The person who didn't like you because you had pimples. But see, the thing about the brain is those things that we encounter in our brains and we hold on to, just like this sponge, you can soak up something new. You can dip your brain into positive thoughts. You can look in that mirror every day and dip your brain into positive thoughts. Squeeze out, rinse out all the negativity, all the negative talk that you told yourself, that other people have told you. And you have to tell yourself, you know what? So what? I may be a little bit overweight, but I can change that if I choose to. So what? I may have pimples on my face, but isn't this a part of life at 13 and 14? Doesn't the person talking about me have pimples also? You can squeeze out all the negative things that's cast upon you, and you can refill your mind with positive talk. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am attractive. I am tall, even though you may be short. You may believe that you're tall. For me, for example, I used to tell myself I wasn't smart. I wasn't good at school, and it showed. My report card used to read what I call fudder to done. And I read all F's and D's. As my report card read, fudder to done. Yeah, I thought the same thing. But that's what it read. I told myself I wasn't smart. I soaked my mind with those things repeatedly. I would show up in class, I would sit there, and the teacher would ask me a question. I would be embarrassed because I didn't know the answer. So instead of getting the answer, I would be insubordinate. Because again, I filled my mind with I wasn't smart, I wasn't capable, I can't do this. I carried that philosophy with me for years throughout my life. And to be perfectly honest with you, it wasn't until right about when I turned 40. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks before I turned 40. I feel like I had a conversation with God, or God had a conversation with me. And he said, you're either going to follow my way, or you're going to be this way for the rest of your life. So in that moment, I knew it was time for me to fill my brain with something else. It was time for me to take my sponge that was filled with negativity and dirt and grime and dip it into God's word and fill my mind with something else. So once I dipped it into God's word, I started to tell myself, you know what, you are smart. You can do this. You're not a liar. You're not a cheater. You're not a deceiver. You can do this. You're not dead before you're 18 like they told you you would be. You're not dead before you're 21 like they told you you would be. So what, you dropped out of high school? You went back and you finished. So what, you never attended college? Here it is, 2018, and I'm attending college now. Why? Because I chose to. Not because someone said it'll give you a better life, it'll make life grand for you. I told myself I wanted an associate's degree in maybe the 90s. In 2012, I was driving a FedEx truck right here in the same area. I was driving to Austin Community College right there on Cypress Creek Road, delivering mail every day. And one day I pulled up and I said, you know what? I'm going to take classes here one day. Not knowing that I was planting a seed for my life. 6 years later, I'm taking classes there. And a year from now, I'll graduate my associate's degree. What would I do after that? I have no clue. But what I did do was I rinsed my mind of all the negative things that I told myself. So take a second. Even though we're past elementary, middle school, high school, take a second and think about some of the things you might have soaked in your mind that you no longer want to carry. Things that other people may have cast upon you. Things that may have happened in your life. Things that you just no longer want to deal with. Take a second and think about that. And after that second, know that just as that thought was there, I could flush that thought out of my mind. I no longer have to carry depression. I no longer have to carry sadness. I no longer have to carry the traumas that I faced while I was serving in Iraq. I no longer have to face those things. No more nightmares. No more sleepless nights. No more waking up in the middle of the night screaming. You know why? Because I soaked my mind with God's word. And God told me I was called to be great. He told me I was special. So every night, every morning, I rinse my mind. This is a personal thing that I do. I have cards, goals, affirmations that I read to myself daily, twice a day. And even on the days I don't feel like it, when I wake up late, I go to bed late, I read them anyway. And I'm running short, so I'll leave you with this one that I read pretty often. And it goes like this. Don't give up. When dark clouds of turbulence move your way, and there seem to be no way out. When bleakness surrounds you on every hand, and you cannot see your way, don't quit, press forward. Though strong billows roll about you and stormy winds shake your dreams, don't quit, get up and press forward. Though it seems all hope is lost, you're alone, and no one's there to encourage you. Don't quit. Lift up, old bowed down head. You can make it. Stand up tall, press forward. Always be mindful that trouble won't last always. It is a stepping stone of life in which we all must endure sooner or later. So don't quit, my friend. Look to Jesus, be patient, and press forward, for help is just one step beyond. And I can't believe this, but I really have a tear rolling down my eye right now. And that's okay, because I'm being me and I'm being authentic in this moment. Never be afraid to JBY. And if you heard my first speech, that stands for just be you. Never be afraid of AYG, activate your greatness. People say knowledge is power, and that's very true. But that knowledge not applied to anything is powerless. So take the knowledge that you have, apply it to the things that affect your life and the people around you, and make that power work for you. And if it's any negativity, soak it up, squeeze it out, and fill it with the purpose for your life. Thank you.